All right, welcome everybody. And those of you that are live, just know that even if your face is showing, you won't be in the recording. It'll just be my voice because I'm talking. So I always like to see people if that works for you. But if not, that's okay too. But welcome everybody to Becoming an Embodied Spiritual Leader. My name's Erin McGuire Henson. I actually changed my name to Erin Henson, but when I did all that, so many people knew me as McGuire that they started saying, I don't know who the emails are coming from. So I just kind of keep McGuire Henson for those reasons. But anyway, um, it was lovely talking to some of you and kind of like what brought you here. And it seems like people are in a lot of different places. I think a lot of you are just either starting what I call a soul aligned business, or you haven't even started yet. And this is the perfect place for both of those camps because those are the kind of people that I really love working with. So you're in the right place. Just wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to start by just kind of sharing who I am because there were some new people that signed up for this. And I just want you guys to know who I am, what I've been doing over the years. So I'm what I call a natural born healer. I say that's a nice way of saying I think I've done this in a few lifetimes because I've had some memories come back through different meditations over the years that have shown me like doing similar kind of work in past lives. I really believe in past lives and have seen a lot of my past lives. I'm highly sensitive, empath, and a natural, just intuitive channel. So you'll kind of see me sometimes just kind of riff off of my slides and kind of look off to the distance. And that's usually when the channel's happening. I just kind of have to detach my energy a little bit. And I work with many different guides. I just call them spirit, but I have a BA in psychology. I've studied energetics, energy healing, the subconscious mind for over 17 years. I'm trained as a Hatha Vinyasa yoga teacher trainer. Did yoga teacher trainings, trained over 80 yoga teachers. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, a Reiki master teacher. When I was putting this all together, I was like, good Lord, woman. A theta healer, which is clearing blocks in the subconscious and the faulty programs that we pick up over our lifetime. I'm well knowledged in energy medicine and releasing trapped emotions. I'm a family constellation therapist. That's where we untangle ancestral burdens and entanglements that we get passed down through our ancestors. Really deep, beautiful work. I'm a strategic interventionist, a somatic coach, and nervous system expert specializing in trauma, attachment styles, and CPTSD. I'm recently the author of The Art of Unraveling, my very first book. I'm an international retreat leader, and I've owned and ran a full-time healing business for over 15 years. So I've done all the things in all the ways, the wrong ways, the right ways, and everything in between. And so I have some knowledge to impart in that department. And I'm also diagnosed with CPTSD from childhood trauma, growing up with an alcoholic and narcissistic mom and no father. Just tons of chaos in my childhood, lots of yelling. So my nervous system became very dysregulated. I also was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, and I had a sexual trauma in my late 20s that completely changed my life, not in a good way, but I guess kind of. And I'm a serious cat lover, always have been. And as you can see in that picture, I love to face snuggle cats. That hasn't changed. I added this picture because I've always seen this picture as like, I just feel like I look so sad. So a lot of the work that I do is for that inner child, I grew up just feeling so lost and had so much healing I had to do over the years. And it's my absolute mission to share whatever I can to make people's journey easier, to help them heal. And so I do it for little Aaron. I do it for younger Aaron, and I do it for all the beautiful souls that cross my path, that have, suffered in different ways. In 2020, my health took a dive and I had debilitating chronic fatigue, and I was in bed by 1 p.m. most days, working on my computer, like while laying down. I just needed to be laying flat. Suffered from hypothyroidism, hormonal imbalances, diagnosed with depression, even though I didn't feel depressed. And that was just my Western medicine doctor's pathology was like, well, we got your thyroid numbers up and you still feel tired, so it must be that you're depressed. And I'm like, but I'm not depressed. And so you can see this picture on the left. I don't even recognize that person. And it took me a long time to be able to share that, but I think it's worth sharing because that was me in 2020, in the height of all those chronic health issues. And I had just turned 40. I thought that this was just my life now. I mean, I'm smiling because this picture was on my husband's phone and I almost fell over when I saw it one time. And he just thinks however I look is great. And I'm like, that is horrific. Like I was horrified when I saw that picture. I did not even remember that I looked like that. So that was 2020. I think this was like 2023, um, late 2023, early 2024. So quite a remarkable difference in how I look. And I'm about to tell you how that all happened. Um, again, the doctors wanted to put me on antidepressants, and I found out through a bunch of research and just synchronicities, as the universe does for us. I was getting all this information all of a sudden that there might be trauma stuck in my body. And that was the issue. The trauma was stuck in my body, even though I had done all the subconscious work, all the mindset work, the meditation, the yoga, the energy healing for years and years and years. And it was somatic work and nervous system work that saved me. So I now am a bridge where I really bring the spiritual world and the psychological world together. That I feel like is my unique take on um, the work that I do. So you're probably here because you are a highly sensitive person and or empath. I mean, these are the people I attract. Spiritual healers. You may not have, like some of you have not even started a business yet or started doing healing work, and yet you're that person that people just feel calm around. Or I get that a lot. Somebody was saying before the call started that she went to a tarot reader and they said, you can do this work. That was a story I had. I had a psychic. I went to a psychic probably 10, 15 years ago. It was like, I really don't know why you're here because you can do this. And I'm like, what? Tell me what I need to know. What's wrong with my life right now? As we do. We want to know, we want that from people, from those tarot readers or healers. And yet I think every one of you that's here or listening to this at a later time has innate gifts. You've always been the sensitive one. You've always just kind of known things and felt things and sensed things. Again, you may have been the one that people just tell things to. I had a client, she's like, people just walk up to me at the grocery store and just start telling me things. She's like, and I don't know what to do with that. And it's because it's your aura. It's your light that people are drawn to. So your gifts may show up in different ways, but I think that's why you're all here. And I want to kind of tonight go into what I see can be issues for us as spiritual people, as healers, as empaths, and to hopefully help you feel more comfortable stepping into these gifts, okay? And then at the very end, I will say I am going to share some ways to work with me. You by no means have to stay on to listen to those, but I am going to share some ways to move forward if that is comfortable for you, or if that's something you're interested in, I should say. And If you stay till the very end, there's a free gift. So just a couple options, but by no means are you obligated to. Um, so the biggest issues I see for healers, empaths, is pretty much we all have trauma. Okay. Usually a pretty great deal, especially from childhood. And we're not always doing the embodied work to heal it. So there's kind of two camps. There's either the camp that just goes to therapy and, is just trying to work it through the mind or just doing mindset work, just doing, just focusing on the neck up kind of thing, working on the mindset, working on affirmations, working on that manifesting, that kind of thing, or therapy. But we're not doing the energy healing, the spiritual work, or the somatic work that gets in the body. Um, or there's the other camp that just focuses on the energy side. And this was me for a really long time, as I just shared in my story, right? I just did all the energy stuff. I just meditated. I did yoga. I did all the energy healing. I cleared my subconscious blocks. I did mindset work. But then my body just gave out on me in 2020. And I had to learn that I was missing the body piece. I was missing the physical body piece. So I'm really seeing that we need both. Okay, we need both. The physical body has to play a role in this because it's the physical manifestation of the energy and everything else, right? So, and it's where the trauma gets held. So we need both is the answer to that question. So trauma lives in the body. So nervous system and somatic work are key. If you haven't implemented those kinds of tools in your life, highly recommend. And if we're just living in our upper chakras, the body doesn't feel safe, and then we're not in our body. We're not grounded. And again, that was me for many, many years. And I love this. The Greek root word of trauma means injury or wound. We all have wounds. So that means we all have trauma. And I've been trying to, for years, normalize that word. Trauma doesn't have to be a scary thing. Of course, some of us have some really intense trauma that has happened to us. I am one of those people. But number one, we're not comparing our trauma and going, oh, hers is worse than mine. We're just saying we all have it. And that means we all have to do the work to help ourselves, to release it, to rise above it. But this piece here, I really want to drive the point home that like if you're drawn to this work, it's because you have some deep trauma. Some shit has happened to you. A lot of us grew up, myself included, feeling deeply unloved, and that just wires your nervous system and your mind in a really bad way, and really adds to unworthiness, insecure attachment styles, and all of those kinds of things that really affect every area of our life, as we'll see here in a minute. But uh, this is such a common thing for all of us, and it's the reason we find this work is because we've had these wounds that we want to go about fixing, right? So we seek out these different tools to help us. And then that's how we get into the world of healing. A lot of us come in with past life trauma. A lot of us come in as the chosen one in our ancestral lines to be the one in your ancestry that actually the trauma stops with. I attract those people. I call them the chosen ones. So if you're here watching this, you are the chosen one in your family lineage, whether you like it or not. And it was an unconscious choice to be the one that releases the ancestral entanglements and therefore the trauma, so it no longer gets passed down to your children. And it doesn't matter if you have adult children or not, or if I don't have children. It ends and it stops spreading through the family line um, laterally and then backwards too. So we are here to do really powerful work as healers. And oh my gosh, I just have so many things to say tonight. Let's hope I can stay on time. So the second thing is we usually have some sort of health issues. You saw mine. If you're young and watching this, you may be lucky and those health issues haven't caught up yet. But a lot of healers end up getting some sort of chronic health issue and or autoimmune from unprocessed trauma. So it goes back to learning the nervous system and processing our trauma. Let's talk about Chiron for a moment, the wounded healer. Okay. This is in every one of our charts. If you are a healer, you have the wounded healer. Why? What does that even mean? It means you are a wounded healer. We just talked about trauma means wound. So, what this means is we must attend to our own wounds. If we're going to do this work, if we're going to support others on their journey, we have to first support ourselves. And then the third issue I see big with healers, light workers, and empaths is we're hiding our gifts because of an unconscious fear of being seen from this life's trauma, from past life trauma, aka the witch wound, and ancestral burdens carried through the line. So it's not safe. So what is that? That shows up to you. It's unconscious, but it's going to show up as self-sabotaging. So you start, maybe you can't even get the business going because it's like, well, I need this to be perfect, and then I need this to be perfect, and then I have to do this. And so we're making up all of these reasons to not start so that we can unconsciously stay safe. Or you've started the business and it comes time to make a post or to put yourself out on video. One woman told me, and you want to vomit like all over yourself because the fear rises and it's just like, like I don't want to be seen. Or like for me, I used to do video and it's like I could feel like something was like holding me back. Like, don't be too weird. Don't say, don't talk about witch wound. Like that's gonna get you killed, right? There's like this unconscious fear that if we're really truly ourselves, if we're really truly put our spiritual healer that out into the world, that we have gifts, that we're medicine women and men, uh, something bad is going to happen to us. And that is deeply, deeply woven even into our DNA. It's passed from our ancestors that died for being powerful. It's passed from our past lives. I saw many of my past lives where I got my head cut off. Sounds lovely, right? I had to go through all of these deaths, like seeing all of my deaths from past lives, because I was a very powerful healer. And so in this life, it's like, nope, nope, we don't say all the things. We hold back. And so you may know all these things, but it's like it's showing up subconsciously in very subtle ways, this self-sabotage. Success feels unsafe in some way. We live in doubt of it working. Give me a hand raise if the doubts come up and it's just like, I was talking to a friend recently and she's like, well, I need my health care and, and the money that my job pays me. And all of those things are real and valid, but we could be doing a little bit of healing work on the side while we're working our 9 to 5 or whatever, and slowly growing that business. But the doubt comes in and it will just take you out. Doubt will take you out. Like it will flood your system and you'll be like, this isn't for me. I can't do this. And it's all connected to this fear of being seen that runs in three main ways. So it can be hard to get clients because again, if we're subconsciously or energetically holding ourselves back or holding back our truth, we're not putting out or saying the things or having the ideas, and then we're not magnetic to people. And so the clients aren't showing up. It's an energetic thing, and it's connected to this fear of being seen. We might, if we have a business, we might be ghosting clients, like disappearing for a while or not sharing on social media consistently. So all of this comes back to the nervous system. Everything comes back to the nervous system. If the nervous system does not feel safe to show up and share that you have gifts and that you're a healer, because who would you be then? And deep down, there's an unconscious fear that something bad will happen to you if you do share. But it's also a lot of trauma for this from this lifetime too. Like the nervous system doesn't feel safe. I can tell you for me, because, and I may be talking about this in another slide, but my nervous system in particular did not feel safe from this lifetime trauma because growing up with a narcissist, I had to dim my light. I had to play small and dumb myself down so that I wouldn't get into trouble. I had to be quiet so that I didn't get into trouble. Nobody told me those things. It's what my brain, my psyche, my nervous system picked up. It's not safe to be big. It's not safe to be who you really are. Play small, dim your light. Don't outshine anybody, especially your mother. Okay. So for you, the story might be different. Maybe you couldn't outshine a brother or sister. Maybe it was your dad, maybe it was grandparents, whoever it was, there's probably an element of this lifetime I had to please, I had to be the people pleaser, or I had to be the fixer, but I couldn't really be who I am. So that creates a suppression. So I feel like you're here because you have been feeling the inner call. I think there's something going on in the energy right now. And I don't even think I know there's something going on in the collective energy. And I keep saying I know that healers are being amplified. This pull. Who's been feeling like a pull? Like something deeper wants to be birthed through you. Even if you're like, I don't know what that pull is. It could be a whisper or it's starting to get a little bit louder where it's like I know that I have something to share, but then the doubt shows up. And the doubt goes, who are you to do that? You don't have the right tools. You can't do the thing, XYZ. All of this is happening because the divine feminine energy is rising on this planet at this time in big ways. It doesn't matter what gender that you are, because I had some guys that were interested in this training as well. It doesn't matter what your gender is. We all have divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy. And the divine feminine has been suppressed. It's actually went underground. I've seen that happen in a meditation once. I was shown like the divine feminine energy actually went underground and it's starting to rise in each one of us. And that's part of that Christ consciousness. Next coming of Christ, whatever your belief system is, isn't necessarily going to be another Jesus, but it's actually within us. We are the next coming as we heed these calls, this inner call that you're hearing, listen to that and follow it because that is what is awakening now on a very amplified level. Like it's been happening, but now it's like the notch got turned up, and we're in the year of the fire horse. If you're watching it at this time. So this year will amplify truth. So that means it will also amplify what is not true, what is not in integrity, and what is out of alignment for you and for the collective. So lots happening in this year. And as healers and sensitives, we have to become embodied in our work and energy, not just intellectualizing it. This is the time too. People's consciousness is raising. And so we can't just do the things we can't just intellectualize information anymore and then go regurgitate it and become a coach and a healer. People can feel authenticity now. They can feel embodiment, whether we know it or not. It's an energy thing. Again, it's that magnetic versus that repelling. And so if we're not embodied in our gifts and embodied in our modalities, it can't work. It's time to be really embodied in our soul work, so to speak, not just intellectualize. We have to intellectualize it, we have to understand it, but now we got to get it into the body. It has to become us instead of just, I can talk the talk, but I'm not living it in my actions and in my body. So as healers and sensitive, oh, I already read that. We're moving from force to flow, from control. That's a trauma pattern, by the way. If you have to control everything, that's definitely something I have been working on a lot. Control to devotion, from disconnection to embodiment. So I believe the medicine woman, medicine man archetype is reawakening, and that's what you're feeling. And I don't care how young you are, like if somebody must be feeling that because that's what I just heard in my intuition. Okay, it doesn't matter how young you are, if you're here, you're an old soul. If you're here, you're a natural born healer. That's my nice way of saying I've done this in other lifetimes. This ain't my first go around, and it's not yours either. Okay, so don't let age. I have a client now in my soul line business coaching. She's like 23, but she started working with spiritual work when she was like 8. Plus, she's a really old soul. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your age at all. Okay. If you're here, if you're watching this, you have an inner medicine woman or medicine man, and it is calling you. It's calling you forward. So you're the one that can see what others cannot, maybe. You're the one who holds the emotional field, the one who alchemizes pain into wisdom, the bridge between the seen and unseen. You may resonate with one of those or all of those. So many modern women, I should also say, and men, especially sensitive, intuitive, once silenced girls, are feeling a pull towards healing modalities, a desire to guide or hold space, a resistance to traditional corporate pathways. I feel like I've got some of those in the room, and that was my friend I was just talking to that is in the corporate world in banking and is just like this. It's like she's sick all the time. Every time I talk to her, she's sick. She's always stressed. And she is a gifted freaking healer. And it's like, it hurts my heart to see people like that. She has no energy to do her healing work by the end of the day on people because she's exhausted. And I really, oh, I know I have a friend in the room who her ear does things. Well, my ears just started ringing just when I started saying that. So this is now downloads of information of just like I want to be that bridge that brings people. I will never be the person that says quit your corporate job or quit your 9 to 5 and just start your business. That's not good for your nervous system. But I will be the person that says, let's help you find time to do this so that you can grow your spiritual business while you're still working your job, your job, so that we can hopefully transition over at some point. Because it does really, when I say this, it does really hurt my heart that there's gifted people in the corporate world, gifted healers that feel stuck and they don't have the energy or the time to do this work. The world needs your healing work. And then there's a grief for how long we've hidden. That's just real. So it's an era of collective awakening that's just going to keep amplifying. There's access to information and being in community, just like we are tonight. This community together makes remembering faster. It also makes learning and stepping into your spiritual gifts accelerate as well. So there's generational healing happening. There's daughters that are no longer willing to carry what their mothers suppressed. Oof, let that land. Uh-huh, right? The medicine that was buried in one generation is rising in the next. Probably a lot of us come from a line of medicine women who never did their medicine work. But sacred deaths, here's the not so happy part of this story. So it's great. Energy is awakening, or our medicine woman is calling us forward, but sacred deaths must occur to step into your medicine woman. And this is why this is not the path for the faint of heart. And all of you know that. And that's why you're here, right? We don't do easy work. Healing your shadows, healing your wounds, healing your trauma, it's not easy. And it's absolutely necessary. So, what are the deaths? I mean, here's just a few, but deaths that you have to walk through. We just came out of the year of the snake, so that shedding process, and that's how I like to think of it. It's like as a snake sheds its skin, we're shedding old identities that we've carried with us for years and years and years. And just like a snake grows too big that its skin becomes so tight and it has to wiggle off. I know that's kind of gross to think about. I said this to somebody once and she was like, please stop talking. Sorry if this is uncomfortable, but I want you to get the visual because this is what is happening and it's really fucking uncomfortable. Okay? The body is growing of the physical snake and it literally has to wiggle that skin off and it might take days, weeks, I don't know how long to get that off. For us, we're not releasing a skin, our soul is getting too big. It's expanding. And the little comfy places we've been living out of that are not so comfy, if we really are honest with ourselves, are getting tight. And we have to like release these and drop these old identities, like clothes falling off of you take your clothes off and it just falls to the floor. That's kind of how I see this happening. And then we rise above it, but it's not comfortable. Unbecoming, I like that. Yeah. So the death of the good girl or the good daughter. So all the obligations that we fall into with our families of origin that can keep us playing out old patterns, if that's true for you, it may or may not be. But certainly the death of the good girl. A lot of us had to be the good girl, the people pleaser, and the do-gooder, and we don't know who we are outside of that. And it begins to get very tight in that people-pleasing suit. And it makes you sick. It will make you sick. The death of the overgiver, the people pleaser, the performing for love, performing to get to feel worthy. And those of you that have a business, you're probably performing to get clients or performing for your clients. Like I've got to people please, like we'll keep changing how these patterns show up. They're very sneaky, but they're all survival patterns. So of course they're sneaky. They're at one point they kept you alive, but you may no longer be the people pleaser in your family of origin, but all of a sudden you're people pleasing your clients or your boss or your coworkers. And so it's like it just moves to a different location. The death of the one who hides her magic, downplays it, and dims her light, and has deep unconscious wounds of fearing her power. That's got to go. And by the way, none of this is probably as easy as just taking off your clothes, right? And dropping them on the floor. It's an initiation. It's like a fire. It's like the phoenix rising. It's like there's levels to it that we move forward in. We don't typically release it all in a snap. And we probably wouldn't want to. But it comes in layers that we can safely manage. And that's kind of what you want for your nervous system anyway. So the death of insecure attachment. Interesting how I wrote around money. So our attachment style, whatever we grew up with, I grew up in a disorganized attachment. There's secure, avoidant. That means you kind of like avoid closeness, commitment with people. It shows up in your intimate relationships, but that's where it's the most loud, but it's going to show up in all your relationships. And money is another relationship. So there's avoidant, There's anxious, where you have this anxiousness that like the thing's going to go away and you're going to be alone and abandoned. So what's the word? I'm making the motion, but you attach. It's like you cling, and then you feel a lot of anxiety when there's any kind of discord with friends, loved ones, that sort of thing. And then disorganized is kind of a combination of the two, of avoidance and anxious, where it's like, I want you, go away. I want you to feel safe, and then I need you to go away to feel safe. So it's very complicated. And if you have any kind of autoimmune or chronic health issue, you most definitely have a disorganized attachment, because that discord in your system and in your nervous system keeps you in an activated state of fight or flight. You're probably also in a freeze with a disorganized attachment because, again, the push-pull energy, the nervous system doesn't know what to do, so it just shuts you down. So lots of really all of this work, as you will see, it very much weaves together. And that's where I'm bringing in the spiritual aspects with the psychological and weaving it all together. But money is the same thing. So whatever our attachment style was growing up is translates with money. So if money goes away, do you get really anxious? A lot of people do. Do you avoid looking at it? You can see how the pattern plays out. And insecure attachment is all about your worth being outside of you. We also have attachment styles with our clients, followers, etc. There's many other deaths that have to happen, but another one that I came up with was the death of needing to control all aspects of life around you. Overthinking, anxiety, overwhelm patterns. All of this is old survival stuff. Let me know in the comments if this is landing, if we're feeling this. So you may be feeling that inner call, but you also might be feeling the fear. Who feels the fear come up? Like, oh, I'm feeling the pull, but oh gosh, what's going to happen? Who am I going to be? What am I going to have to do? Like, me? I remember when I first felt the call 15 plus years ago to do this. In fact, an astrologer for my friends that like astrology and tarot, as we were saying at the beginning, told me, that I would be doing this kind of work. And I was just like, oh, hell no. And I ran in the opposite direction. Um, it's just like, I'm not going to be a freak. See ya. That's what I thought. That's what I thought spirituality was. Like I had to be a weirdo that like sat in lotus position forever and like just meditated. That was how my limited understanding of this stuff. So whatever your preconceived notions are, we can let those go. The body remembers past punishment for power. So power could mean a lot of different things to you. It might have meant getting in trouble, or if you grew up with an overbearing or very critical or parent that yelled a lot, you may have subconsciously done what I did, which was I avoided my power because power to me meant you have to be really mean. My little childlike brain, my brain as a child, and my nervous system wired power with yelling and being a mean person. So it said, we don't want that. And so I'm just going to stay small to stay safe because I don't want to hurt people. We're all very heart-centered, beautiful people, and sometimes that turns on us, right? We get too humble, we get too small. So the work becomes healing the nervous system, reclaiming your voice safely, and integrating spiritual gifts with grounded tools, plus developing strong intuition. Yes, reclaiming voice. I want to touch on this for a second because, again, some of you may be newer into the whole world of spirituality and personal growth. but I have a feeling a lot of you have been in the world for quite some time. And our ego loves to take anything and everything and and twist it into what it needs it to be. So it'll take, I always say, oh, look at that. I have an elevated ego now. Like it's like, oh, we no longer do some of the old patterns, but now we'll take the healing path and make it performative. So to get something or to get worthiness or to get to fix or whatever it is, it's just using it in a different way or escape. Maybe there was a time that I struggled with alcohol, and that's when that sexual ex trauma happened to me. It was awful. And so I don't use alcohol anymore to escape, but are we using spiritual tools to escape? It's an interesting question. So I had an email from a client recently, and she's like, "Oh my God, I have so much anxiety." I'm like, I did the breath work, I've been meditating, I'm journaling, and that anxiety is still there. Like, what can I do? How do I get rid of it? I'm just gonna let that land for a minute. How do I get rid of it? The tools, I just heard the most beautiful quote. If you need to get across, thank you, Spirit, for bringing this back. I hadn't even thought about this. If there's a lake and you need to get to the other side, and there's a raft sitting on the shore, do you get on the raft and float to the other side? Yes, because that's a tool that's getting you where you need to go. But do you pick up the raft and then carry it everywhere with you from that moment onward? No, that would be silly. But that's what we think we have to do with these tools. I used to do this where it's like, I learned transcendental meditation many, 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 many years ago, where it's 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, all the time. You're meditating and you're told to do it every day, twice a day. And meditation is a lovely tool. Energy healing, lovely tool. Journaling, meditation, breath work, yoga, mindfulness, all wonderful tools. But if we're always just using the tool to escape what is, then the tool has now become a dagger. The tool that could have helped us get across to the other shore has now become this thing we're still carrying with us everywhere we go. And like, oh, I need to do more breath work. Or I had a client once on a one of my international retreats. She was like, "Oh, I'm feeling so much. I'm just everything just feels very heavy. I need to go meditate." And so it's these ways we use to escape what is. When the feelings that are coming up always have a message. So true somatic work, again, it keeps coming back to nervous system and somatic work. But I love all the tools, by the way. But true somatic work is going to build the capacity to hold all the feelings and experiences. And the depth to which you can hold your own pain is the depth to which you're going to be able to be medicine for other people. So it goes back to the Chiron, the wounded healer. We have to attend to our wounds. And attending to them doesn't mean doing breath work and meditation when a negative feeling comes up. It might mean being with the negative feeling and growing a capacity to be with that. So in the embodied path, again, we're being called now to a greater path where we're embodied in the wisdom. We're not just intellectualized in the wisdom, it's embodied. We have to do our own inner healing to the depths of our own pain and build our capacity to feel and know we will be okay, because then we can pass that on to others. Let's just take a moment with that because you got to sit in your shit. Yeah. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. So this is leading from regulation, integrity, and true soul alignment, not just a facade of doing the work, but truly embodying it. So embodied spiritual leaders regulate their nervous system, feel their emotions instead of bypassing them, holds power without becoming dominating and controlling your own power, is not afraid of your own power, and is spiritually connected and grounded in your intuition. And we're no longer spiritual bypassing. We're no longer overgiving, that healer type archetype of like, I have to overgive, give. We're no longer hyper independent, like I'll do it alone. Healing in community is really powerful actually for your nervous system too. There's co-regulation that happens. So you don't lack confidence, you adapted. You became small to survive, maybe, if that resonates for you. And the nervous system equated power with danger. Power felt unsafe. Visibility felt risky or feels risky. It may feel like abandonment and brings up loneliness. And being fully expressed feels like betrayal. Like you're betraying your ancestors, you're betraying your family of origin, maybe even making a lot of money. You're like, that actually brings up a lot of stuff for people too. Like if I outshone my family of origin or my extended family financially, then I'm not going to belong anymore. I love my family dearly, but all of my uncles are like, I always call them like the Dukes of Hazzard. Like they're like construction guys and they're amazing and they would do anything for me. But when I started having to like come out as like a healer and like I do all this weird stuff, it's like, ooh, that triggered some stuff for me. I'm not going to belong to that crew anymore. And those, I don't belong to my family of origin because my mom no longer speaks to me. My biological dad no longer speaks to me. If I don't have the extended family, I don't have anybody. So I better like twist and turn and manipulate myself and dim myself so that I can fit in. And again, all of that is unconscious. I'm not doing that consciously. This is deep, deep biological wiring that you must belong to a family to survive. Goes back to caveman days, you guys. This is in your DNA. There is no escaping biological wiring. It is there. We have to work against it. Doesn't have to be hard. It's important to know that it's there and that it will come up, especially if you grew up with any sort of trauma. So, an embodied spiritual leader means safe power. You're connected to your energy, your vitality, and it's safe because it's who you are. It's your medicine woman or man. So, the cost of staying hidden, light workers tend to have health issues. This is something I've tracked, not just in my own life, but in working with people. If we suppress our voice, we get chronic tension. If we suppress our truth or doing what you want to be doing, you get fatigue. That's what I had. Even though I was doing my healing work then, I was working with people, some aspects of it were bored and I wasn't listening to that. I wasn't following my joy. I was following what I'd always done, which kept me in a box instead of evolving with what my soul was calling me forward. There's power behind those words. Can you feel that? If your soul is calling you forward to something and you're going, no, I've always done it this way. Even if it looks good, like I still had a spiritual business. I've been doing this a long time. The soul is still trying to evolve. And if we keep putting the doubt up or putting the excuses up or pushing it away, doesn't mean we have to change our life and do everything differently. But, I do believe that's a big reason I ended up with fatigue, chronic fatigue. And the other reason was I was always overdoing it. I didn't know how to slow down and be in my feminine energy. Suppressed power creates inflammation. You could also say suppressing who you are, because I believe your power is who you are. So that's going to create inflammation in the body. Living misaligned creates burnout. So we have to create nervous system safety. We have to release trapped emotions, unravel subconscious patterns and beliefs connected to the witch wound in past lives, and release ancestral entanglements. And it sounds like a lot, but it doesn't have to be. The key is your body knows when you're not living your soul's design. Growth on the adrenal gland. I have not, but I know I suffered from adrenal fatigue too and adrenal issues. And to me, that's very connected to this fatigue thing. In my healing work and energy work, I see the adrenals like your batteries. So when there's issues there, it's like the batteries have kind of not been charged. We've been overdoing it, pushing ourselves beyond our limits, not connected. If you're a feminine woman and you're not and you're pushing always in your masculine, you're going to end up with some sort of adrenal fatigue issues. So it's really important to tap into that divine feminine energy. So, oh my goodness, I feel like I've been rambling. Do we have any questions before I kind of begin to start pivoting here? Let me just see what yeah, so I'm going to start pivoting um, into what's happening. Good stuff. Oh, thank you. It probably resonates, right? But maybe you just haven't thought about it in these particular ways. I'm going to stop the share for 1 second because I want to go find something that everything resonates. Yes, right? That call is so strong, you guys. I feel it so deeply for all of us, even myself in changing things this year. Like I've really gotten clear. A lot of you have been in my world for a while and have seen different evolutions. And sorry, I'm looking for something. And I don't know if I'm going to find it here. I might have to go elsewhere. And I've been feeling a call strongly. So some of you are finding me on social media because in new ways, because I'm really starting to lean into that I'm here for light workers. I'm here to help you be more visible and to get over these fears of being afraid of being seen. But that's deeper work than we sometimes realize. Oh, I hope I can find this. Give me 1 second. Thank you for your patience. Oh, there it is. Perfect. I did want to share this, so I am gonna go back to this. Anybody else have any other questions? Let me see. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, I'm just really happy that you're here and that you listened to the call. Those of you that this is resonating with. Thank you for being here. So I just wanted to touch on this really quickly. So you are this pure consciousness of spirit. This is just who you naturally are. You know, if you've been in this world, you've probably heard you can manifest anything that you want. But I bet that there's something you wanted to manifest and you haven't yet. And I remember Byron Katie, who wrote the book called Loving What Is, wonderful book, if you are ever interested. She said, if you want something and you don't yet have it, it's because you don't really want it bad enough. And I don't think I would change that a little and I would say it's probably because there's something here that's blocking it. Okay, so this is what I call your stuck belief system. Now we don't have all these things, and I know this makes it sound like it's this big scary thing, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so this is you. Let me just tell you, things move quickly now. I feel like when I was doing the healing work back in the day, I felt like things moved like molasses. I remember being like, I am just walking through molasses and it's taking forever. And now things are just boom, 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 boom. Anybody else feeling that? Like it moves quickly. The awareness comes, and if you have the tools to shift it, it shifts. There might be another layer, okay? We're not, some of this stuff is deep and it's layered. I'm not going to like sugarcoat that, but some of it goes right away. And some of it, it's like big layers of that onion go. But so this is you, this is pure consciousness, this is your spirit. You literally, if all of this was gone, you would literally think thoughts and things would attract. Whatever you wanted would be manifested instantly. Okay, so if that's not happening, not to scare anybody, but this isn't news, this isn't new information. If that isn't happening, then we need to look at where there might be something blocking. This is the 3D, your outer world, the 3D realm. So it's outside of this big circle. Ignore that there's two circles here. That's just for decoration purposes. It kind of defeats the purpose. So we've got different things like ancestral entanglements, false identities. This is like, I'm the people pleaser, I'm the perfectionist. We have the stories we tell ourselves. We have trapped emotions. We have stress responses and trauma, like the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn that we get stuck in. All the nervous system aspects. Fawn is the people pleaser. So interesting that people pleasing is actually a survival stress response, just like the fight and flight, which every animal and human has those, but humans also have this extra thing called fawn, where we learned as children to please, and then that's how we got our needs met. And then we get stuck. So those of you that are, we're not going to go into nervous system stuff tonight. I have a lot of different programs and even self-paced things on that. If you go to the link in any of my Instagram or TikTok bio, it'll say Nervous System Healing Program. It's on sale right now for $97. It's a self-paced program if you really want to go deep into nervous system work. But that's where we get these stress responses and trauma. We have our inner child in pain, like my little me that looked sad. That I don't know why, but that picture is haunting to me. We have limiting beliefs and shadow. And then we have subconscious impressions. So this is our stuck belief system. We're not all stuck. Don't worry, you don't have all of these things. But again, if things aren't quite manifesting the way that you want, that could be an issue. And then when we have our aligned belief system, we've aligned self-concept, we've cleared our emotions and our heart wall released. We release our heart wall. We have an aligned nervous system. We've honored our ancestors, released entanglements. We have aligned beliefs. We respond to triggers easily. And we have an integrated inner child. And we've created an unwavering belief in ourselves. So that is the aligned belief system. And all of that's possible. And it doesn't take years and years and years like it took me. I promise. All right. We're going to go back to what we were just in after I check the chat and make sure that there's no questions and take a sip of water because I am rambling. There will be time for questions at the end too. Okay, we're going to go right back into it. We're almost there, I promise. And here we go. So we want to be living our soul's design. So this is why I created all of what I just talked about, is why I created my Lightworker Academy program, which is an 8+ month program to lead you through 4 individual programs. So the first is my Embodied Spiritual Somatics Coaching Certification that's really going to blend spirituality and the nervous system together and divine feminine. The second program is our emotional freedom technique, releasing trapped emotions and meridian and energy systems training. The third is the pure light subconscious reprogramming, light recoding, and quantum manifesting. So this is where we really get into, I don't like the word woo, but we really get into the woo in that program. And throughout all of the programs, we're working deeply with fears of being seen, feminine energy, feminine energetics, and the nervous system. Well, the nervous system is the first part. Um, and your intuition. That was the other piece. We're working deeply with your intuition. And then there's also the Lightworker Business Accelerator. So that's for brand new to business coaches and healers, and those that want to grow their business, like they're feeling stuck. But I teach it as brand, like you're brand new to business, to having started a business. So we dive deeply into each of the problematic aspects I see for healers and empaths. You're healing your own trauma, chronic issues, trapped emotions, health issues, subconscious programs and beliefs, fear of visibility, while you're learning how to help others. But as I tell all my trainees, you're always your first client. So you're taking yourself through 8+ months of your own deep healing while you're learning how to help others. And that's by design. Um, so I lead you through four programs with the three root causes I see to any chronic issue, which I've already shared. Nervous system dysregulation. Actually, I don't think I've said it this way, but the three root causes I see to any issue that no doctor will ever tell you, no Western medicine person will ever tell you, is nervous system dysregulation. And that goes for health issues, relationship issues that are chronic, um, financial issues that are chronic. It doesn't matter what the chronic issue is. It's not just health, it's any chronic issue. Nervous system dysregulation, trapped emotions, and subconscious programs and or beliefs that are running unconsciously, of course, that are, again, like that circle blocking in a way. I don't like that word block because we can unblock, but that are restricting your pure consciousness from flowing and being that magnet that just attracts. So we also go deep into manifesting too, but like in a quantum way. So I've already shared this, but you're either new to healing, but deep down know you have spiritual gifts. Again, sensing things, people feel calmer around you. You have innate sensitivities, but maybe you haven't learned modalities that help you utilize those gifts. Or you're in the camp of you're already a healer light worker, maybe doing your business as a side hustle, or you're doing it full time, but you aren't getting lasting change with your clients. You're feeling like they kind of keep coming back with the same issue, or you're not getting clients, could be another issue. Those are kind of who this program is for. Or you just want to learn some new modalities to help you in your healing work. So if we're just using spiritual work to heal, we're missing the body and nervous system piece, which is a key root cause, as was the case for me. I did all the spiritual stuff, was literally doing theta healing and Reiki for like 10 years, and yoga and meditation and breath work. And then my body just gave out. So the body has to be included in healing work. That's the embodied piece. So this program, what I love about, I'm very biased. Of course, I love my program, but what I love about it is it bridges the psychology and the spirituality together, and even some neuroscience. So it's very well-rounded and it includes all of the systems. So if we're just doing talk therapy or mindset work, we're also missing the body piece. So through this 8-month plus program, most somatic programs, by the way, so just sharing a little bit about the somatic program piece for a second, they stay clinical or they avoid spirituality. It's just the very psychological pieces of trauma healing. They focus only on technique. And most spiritual programs lack trauma literacy. They skip nervous system completely. And there's sometimes a bypassing of shadow. I have been around many people in the spiritual world where it's like, just be love and light, love and light. Anybody around ever been around those people? Nope, no negativity. Nope. If you're depressed, I don't want to hear about it. Right? That's not reality. And that's bypass. That's spiritual bypass. And I did that too back in my Kundalini yoga days in like 2006, 7. I really got into that whole bypassing of my shadow for many, many years, not just in 2006 or 2007. And then when the chronic fatigue happened, it made me go through a whole deep healing process because it was like, hello, you're going to deal with this now. Health issues have a really interesting way of doing that to you. So Lightworker Academy bridges trauma, science, and mysticism. We teach regulated intuition. We normalize power reclamation and focus on healing visibility wounds. It's not just a certification, it's an initiation onto your medicine woman path. So this is from Haley. She is still in the current Lightworker Academy we finished, but we're still working together a little bit, tying up some ends with them to get them trained. And she said, I enrolled in the Lightworker Academy after losing my spouse. As a newly widowed single mom of 2 with a lifetime of trauma, I knew that I needed the guidance as well as the training to be able to help others one day. I found Erin's Academy, and within a couple of weeks, I signed up. I felt the intuitive nudge to do it, and I'm so glad I did. What I liked most is how Erin teaches. She is very thorough, patient, and she listens as well as answers questions without judgment or making you feel like you don't know anything. Since doing her program, my life has changed in so many ways. I've learned how to regulate my own nervous system. I've learned more about myself, and I feel more confident than ever before. I highly, highly recommend taking this program. You will not be disappointed, and you will receive more than you ever thought possible. And just a few more here from clients that were in the 2025 cohort. I love this course so much, if I can call it that. I learn a lot about myself, things I didn't know about the nervous system. I think everybody should know this, and I love hearing your stories. It makes it all so understandable and so relatable. This is from Marianne, and actually she's a psychologist. So the fact that she learned more about the nervous system in my program was quite an honor and shocking to me, quite honestly. But wow. Then what she learned in school to become a psychologist. I can't give Erin higher praise for her somatic coaching program and the Lightworker Academy. This woman actually did the whole Lightworker Academy. And I highly recommend it for anyone wanting to dive deeper into nervous system regulation and energy healing. She's actually a physical therapist, and she was seeking a way to help her patients in a more holistic way. And the course gave her the tools to do that. She highly recommends it. And Sarah says, as I'm coming upon graduation, I feel called to pause and acknowledge how deeply this experience has changed me. This work hasn't been about becoming someone new. It's been about coming home to myself. Through the tools, practices, and teachings, I've learned how to actually live this work, not just study it. Boom, embodiment. Not just study it, live it. I've practiced on myself. I've integrated into my daily rhythms. I've noticed how I respond differently to stress, how I hold myself with more compassion, how I move through life with more awareness and intention. It's subtle and it's profound. This isn't something I feel the need to sell or convince anyone of. I just know that for me, this space has been life-changing, supportive, and deeply aligned, excuse me, with how I want to live, show up, and serve. If you're someone who feels called to spirit, personal growth, embodiment, and integration, not just learning, but living the work, I can wholeheartedly say this journey has been worth it. So much gratitude for Erin, the container, and the version of me that said yes. I just love that. So this is an 8-month plus program that I lead you through 4 individual programs. So the Embodied Spiritual Somatic Certification, it's valued at $444. 4,444. Can't even say that. The emotional freedom technique, releasing trapped emotions, and meridian energy systems is 2 months. So the first one is the somatic is 3 month, emotional freedom and all of that is 2 months. It's valued at 2,500. The subconscious reprogramming, light recoding, quantum manifesting is 3 months. It's also valued at 4,444. And then the Lightworker Business Accelerator is 2 months, and that's valued at 3,333, which is over $15,000 in value. So it's part self-paced lessons that you do in your own time, and then weekly live practice sessions. There's limited class size to deepen learning, additional meditation, soul work, and bonuses. You get lifetime access to the program. Meditations, you get access to me outside of the live calls via a voice memo app and or a Facebook group. It also includes the Light Leader Collective. And you can take this is important to share, because I get many people that are like, I don't know that I want to go be a healer, but I want to do this for me. So there is a certification path or a personal growth path. You can take it for either way. You may take it as personal growth and then decide you want to do this and you'll be able to, like you want to help people with this. So here's the price that they are now. So the somatic program, it's not 4,444, it's actually 2,222. The emotional freedom technique, releasing trapped emotions and meridian energy systems, is 1,111. Pure light subconscious reprogramming, light recoding, and quantum manifesting is 2,222. And then the business accelerator is 1,111. So it's not 15,000, it's 5,555, because we like repeating numbers around here, as you can tell. Or it's 12 payments of 480. And just want to share too that there is also the option to just do an individual program. So let's say you're like, yeah, I just kind of want to do the somatic program. You could do that. And there's payment plans for each of those as well. However, if you do the full 8 month program, you get the Lightworker Business Accelerator for free. So when you add all that up, it's more than whatever. So you're saving over $1,000 if you get it all. I can't do math right now. I just know the Business Accelerator is free. So there is a fast acting bonus because I really appreciate people that decide quickly. So if you sign up for one or the full 8 month program in the next 24 hours, you get a one-on-one session with me that to be used within the next month or two, and that's valued at over $444. So it's a deep session that can be used for your soul aligned business if you have one, or we can go into coaching and healing work. The prices will be going up from what you just saw. They'll be going up $555 on March 18th. So you will get, if by acting now you get both of these, but obviously you don't have to do that. So Jess says the Lightworker Academy included all the tools I had been interested in for a long time. So when I saw it, I just knew it was for me. I am mind blown by everything I've learned in the program. I have been told by quite a few people that I am more confident. I was stuck in hyper do mode for so long. I now have the self-awareness and I can identify the patterns when they come up. You were such a supportive person, and I felt like you were always there, excuse me, when I had a question or needed support. And I'm not just saying that, I mean, she's saying that for me, but I am always there. If you decide to work with me, I take you on. I take you on and I want you to succeed. And if you, let's say, just didn't show up to the live calls, you'll be getting messages from me because I want to check in on you. You become like, I don't want to say like family, but like I deeply care about the people that come to my world because I deeply care that us light workers get our shit together and get out there doing our light work, right? Whether it's for our families or for as a business. Okay, so option two is the Light Leaders Collective. This is kind of something that's being born. It wanted to be born. And this is a monthly 1.5 hour masterclass where you get direct somatic coaching and energy work and subconscious reprogramming done in a group setting focused on spiritual alchemy. And this is $33.33 a month. It's valued at 111. So there's actually several options, right? First option is the full 8-month program. Second option is you could do one of these programs. The Light Leader Collective would be included in that too, for just the amount of time that you are in that program. And then there's the Light Leader Collective. Okay. So last couple of things here. Thanks for sticking with me till the very end. I do have a gift for you, I promise. So this is from Jenny. She says, "Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for all your guidance and support." She did our somatic coaching program. The last 3 months have been deeply transformative in terms of how I'm feeling, tapping into my body, listening to what I need, my nervous system needs, and having the tools to not stay stuck in a dysregulated state. This has been very empowering. And this is from somebody who's a yoga teacher and a fitness coach and a healer, in her own right. A coach, a healing coach, I guess you could call her. So she found herself dysregulated. On a side note, I submitted my resignation this week. So she was doing healing work full time, coaching and healing work full time. She quit, went back to a 9 to 5 job. And after taking this program, she's transitioning back into full-time healing work in this past August. This is something that I've been praying about for more than a year, and I know it is divine timing. Thank you for helping me find myself again. Wow, amazing. So the truth is, when you do this work, you begin manifesting things to you magnetically because you're no longer manifesting through dysregulation and survival patterns. Your whole life changes, your health improves, your relationships improve, you begin feeling confident, putting yourself out there, and your healing work out into the world. And maybe quitting your 9 to 5. I mean, I don't push that, but we do that safely for most of us. So the fact is, you could go do this all on your own. You could go look, like, watch all the TikToks, watch all the Instagrams, collect different things, kind of, in a scattered way. You could go to talk therapy, collect tools from all over the internet while trying to figure out nervous system regulation, which is no small feat. Trying to figure out your subconscious blocks and where you're blocking yourself that are keeping you from showing up and being visible and from actually doing the healing work. You could spend the next several years spinning your wheels frustrated while the manifestations and the business and the using your gifts, making an impact in others' lives don't show up, wasting time, energy, and cash along the way. Or let's just get right to this, get right on this path in the next 8 months by there's a typo there, but being directed by someone with over 15 years of experience, bridging psychology with spirituality, where all of the pieces are already laid out in a step-by-step system. So you skip the wasted time, skip the wasted money, skip the fights in your relationship, skip the feelings of rejection or not being good enough, the doubt, the how can I figure this out, the will this ever work, skip the not knowing and how to get lasting change with your clients and feel like you're spinning your wheels. You could skip the continual health issues and the fear in your system around showing up. So join me and get a free one-on-one session with me if you join within the next 24 hours, or check out the Light Leader Collective. So we're just going to end on this note. The divine feminine rising isn't about being louder. It's about being embodied. It's about becoming the kind of leader, yes, even if right now you're like, Erin, I am not a leader. Yes, you are. You're on the cutting edge. Whether you realize it or not, you're doing things differently than probably most of the people you know, definitely differently than most of your families and your family members. You are a leader. And it's about becoming the kind of leader whose presence regulates a room. In the Tao, they call it the doing without the doing, where it's just like your presence does the work for you. But that takes time to get there. We've got to go through those depths. And the kind who has done her own healing, the kind who can hold power without collapsing or controlling. The world doesn't need more ungrounded spiritual leaders or healers in hiding, afraid to show up and share their gifts. It needs embodied medicine men and women. And if I can have a healing business for over 15 years doing this work with CPTSD, anxiety, trauma, and health issues like I have, then you certainly can too. This is 100% possible. Sometimes we just need a guide from someone who's been there. And there is really something about being in a collective energy that helps you raise your vibration. And when you have that support of others, not just myself, but the others in the group, it just creates this nervous system safety that you can do it. Plus, we're working on the doubts, we're working on the fears, we're working through all the survival patterns that got created together. You're not doing it alone with all over the place, right? So, my free gift, if you've made it this far, which thank you if you have, is my Healing the Witch Wound meditation. So you're just going to go ahead and email me at purelighealings, make sure there's an S at the end, at gmail.com with Healing the Witch Wound meditation as the subject, and I will send it to you. And I just want to thank you all for being here. And I just really appreciate your presence and energy and all of the things. And I'm here if anybody has questions. And I cannot believe I did all of that in time. That's a record for sure. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for being here. It all comes up with my students because I swear I see theirs and it's stuff I went through. Yep, exactly. The people in our life, the coworkers, or whatever it is we do, our partners will become the mirror of those survival patterns too. Yeah. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? All right, I'm going to stop the recording because I feel like we get shy. So I'm going to stop. Thank you to everybody watching. If you want to stick around in your live, just give me 1 second. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I just want to, yes, I truly feel that. I truly feel gratitude. Like, even if you don't work with me, I'm just really grateful that you're here because to me, there's a part of you that's saying, yes, I feel this. I feel a pull. I feel something calling me forward. So thank you for listening to that.